Good, happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. Former New Hampshire Senate aide tells investigators Sanborn made almost daily comments about her appearance. A former state Senate aide told investigators in January that State Senator Andy Sanborn, a Bedford Republican, made almost daily remarks about the way she dressed, sometimes telling her that she looked hot, according to transcripts of the interview released Friday. But the former aide made it clear to the investigators that she never felt physically threatened by Sanborn, who is now a candidate for the 1st District U.S. House seat. Sanborn, responding early Saturday morning to the comments in the transcript, said the former aide is a family friend and he was simply complimenting a colleague for dressing well. He accused the establishment of trying to manufacture a story against him. GOP candidate Edwards stands by decision to walk off debate stage. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
Out the door when it matters most. For more than a decade, he's been right there, everywhere. And when American jobs are on the line, he leads the charge. ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast, and we thank you.
Be a decisive moment in the 1st Congressional District Republican primary. Eddie Edwards walked away from an NHGOP debate against Andy Sanborn Thursday night after refusing to sign a party-mandated pledge to publicly support Sanborn if he wins the race. Edwards believes Sanborn, the subject of a pair of workplace harassment investigations at the State House, is unfit for office.
I've wanted to debate the issues, and I am just shocked at the number of people who just ignore these type of things.
Edwards knows the move could have negative political consequences for him. Loyalty is important to Republicans, but he says he's been taking lonely stands on principle for as long as he can remember.
Not taking the easy road, but taking what's the road that voters expect for you to take. And there's no better place to be than in New Hampshire to do that. We believe in the individual, standing up for what is right.
Sanborn has repeatedly addressed what he calls a crass comment he made in 2013, saying no one present, including his wife, was offended. An attorney general's investigation into how things were handled afterward found nothing criminal. Thursday night, Sanborn largely played it safe and conservative in his solo time on stage, an indicator he thinks his opponent's walkout was a serious tactical error.
We have to respect what the chairman of the GOP party said. He set ground rules for everyone who is going to come here. Everyone should have played by the same rules. And if people didn't want to play from them and didn't want to participate, that was really a decision that they had to make.
Edwards has made clear he's comfortable with his decision, even if it costs him votes. But this stand could still work out in his favor, particularly as the Attorney General's office continues to release interview transcripts from its investigation.
What will emerge, could it overshadow what happened this week? Potentially. But again, there's the problem for Edwards, it almost seems as if he's putting his judgment ahead of the voters.
Adam Sexton, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Senator Warren goes on the record about her opponent to Trump administration. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
Sunday brunch on the waterfront was never quite like this. Views included. Our new a la carte brunch features traditional classics, our famous waterfront Benedict bar, and of course, cocktails. Mark your Sundays and join us in Meow.
We are back. Remember, it's got to do with your 3
Republican challengers right now. Question 3 is, which GOP challenger ran Scott Brown's unsuccessful 2010 U.S. Senate special election campaign?
I think that was Beth Lindstrom.
It was Beth Lindstrom who did it. Yeah, indeed, it is Beth Lindstrom. She is one of the 3 that is in the primary, and one of them will survive and obviously run against you in November. Question 4, of the 3 Republican challengers, Beth Lindstrom, John Kingston, and Jeff Deal, the one who was once a Democrat is either Lindstrom, Kingston, or Deal. One of them was a Democrat.
I don't know.
Whitman State Rep Jeff Deal until 2008.
Whoa.
Whoa. All
Now
right,
you
back
know.
off the hot seat and back on the other hot
All right, the other hot seat. Despite vociferous opposition, the Senate confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh begins in 2 weeks.
Yes.
A lot of people say it's a done deal. You have said repeatedly this is not a done deal.
Right.
Are you going to keep up the opposition?
Look, Donald Trump is not a king. Donald Trump gets to nominate someone, but then he has to get a majority in the United States Senate.
But the reality is it does look like this is going to happen.
The reality is it has to go through the United States Senate. And remember, we are a tightly divided United States Senate at this time. I remember January of 2017 when everybody said healthcare reform is a done deal. And enough people across this country said, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to see you roll back healthcare coverage for millions of people, take away protection for people with pre-existing conditions, take away coverage for nursing homes for 2 out of 3 seniors. I don't want to see that happen.
Back to Kavanaugh, did you know him when he was teaching at Harvard?
No.
You didn't know.
No.
I would like to ask you about
Okay,
Republican
and
Governor
there
Charlie
you
Baker.
go on that video and that report. If you want to see the full video, you can see the link on the Riley King Network Facebook page. And you can also go to WCVB website and click Politics. Senator Warren goes on the record, issues she believes people care about. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
It's the Xfinity best deal of the year. Ask about getting $300 back when you include Xfinity Mobile with your internet. More tuba!
Simple, easy, awesome. To learn more, click, call, or visit us today.
Good morning, everyone. It's time to go on the record.
They put their own lives on the line to try to keep the rest of us safe. The system needs reform.
The question of racial inequality in the criminal justice system. Senator Elizabeth Warren takes it on and prepares to shake Washington with a speech on corruption in our nation's capital. She's our guest this morning.
The Three Bears test and Massachusetts Senior Senator Elizabeth Warren. Is she too moderate, too far left, or just right?
What we're looking at in our political world is a definite reaction to what happened in 2016.
Green Mountain upset. Vermont primary Democrats vote for their first transgender governor candidate who labels President Trump a despot. Let's go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Very good morning to you, everyone. I'm Ed Harding, along with News Center 5's Maria Stefanos, filling in this morning for Janet Wu. Thank you for joining us on the record. Our guest is the senior senator from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, the former Harvard constitutional law professor, captured the mass political scene back in 2012 by defeating incumbent Republican Scott Brown. She is seeking her second 6-year term in the Senate. Senator, great to have you with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Good to be here. Senator, thanks for being here. Tuesday morning, we're going to be giving a speech about corruption in Washington at the National Press Club. What names are we going to hear? Who will you be talking about?
So what I'm going to be talking about is the influence of money on Washington, and not just campaign contributions, although those are powerfully important, but all the other ways. And can I tell you a quick story? I'll tell you a story on this. This is about someone who left Goldman Sachs, Gary Cohn. And you may remember when Donald Trump set up his administration, what he did is he calls in all these Goldman Sachs people, right? And they could have opened a branch office for Goldman Sachs right there in the White House. But Gary Cohn had a very special role. He's the senior economic advisor to the president. His principal job is going to be getting tax changes through. So what does Gary Cohn get on the way out the door from Goldman Sachs? You ready? $350 million.
So that's a name.
Hand it to him. You're going to be hearing his name. But it's going to be about the system overall, about the revolving door, about what I call, in a case like that, pre-bribes. the idea.
Okay, and there you go on some of that video. If you want to see that whole video, just go to WCBB and click Politics to see it. And we will have a link on the Riley King Network Facebook page for you to see as well. Trump hits back at Times report, calls his White House most transparent in history. Let's take a listen to the video.
The landing at Saco Bay, a small home environment ideal for your loved ones with dementia and Alzheimer's. The landing at Saco Bay provides compassionate care and comfort while still allowing for independence and activity. Call the landing at Saco Bay today.
CNN poll says that 66%, or 2/3 of Americans, think Special Counsel Robert Mueller should wrap up his investigation by the midterm elections. The poll showed that the majority of Republicans, Democrats, and independents agree Mueller should issue a report before voters head to the polls. The lowest numbers were among the Democrats at 57%, who are more likely to favor giving Mueller the time he needs to complete the probe. The highest numbers were among the Republicans at 72%, and independents were at 69%. The poll also found that most Americans disapprove of how President Trump has handled his response to the investigation, with 55% disapproving and 34% approving. And 3 in 10 Americans say that the Mueller investigation will be a huge deciding factor when they head to the voting booths this fall.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. White House counsel cooperated extensively with Mueller's investigators. White House counsel Donald McGahn has cooperated extensively with Special Counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russia meddling with the 2016 presidential election. Source with knowledge of his interviews tells ABC News. And that does it for this edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all enjoyed this edition of Politics with Riley King. I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. And have a great rest of your Sunday and have a great week, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.